So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel, man. Salute. All right. I'm a sucker for a good title. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It says, man built this trap in his backyard, and it's disgusting how well it works. I want to see it. I gotta see it. So subscribe, hit the like button, do all that you came to do. Sit back, and I just got satisfied with curiosity real quick. Let's see what this is.
With the new wave of one-to-use repellents that don't have heavy chemicals in them, people are getting very resourceful and imaginative. There are dozens of new and original ways of killing, trapping, and repelling those pesky insects that make our daily life so difficult sometimes. Some of them are so incredibly surreal, you won't believe they work until you try them.
What the?
From a guy that built a trap in his backyard to using hot sauce as a repellent, here are 20 effective ways.
So this might end up being like a life hack video.
To get rid of all insects at home.
Itching though.
Number 20. Man built this trap in his backyard, and it's disgusting how well it works. If you are one of the unfortunate souls that has ever been bitten by a horsefly, that means for sure that you now hate them. Their bite is so excruciatingly painful that no other response than hatred would be natural. As their name suggests, horseflies usually go for horses and cattle, but from time to time, they get adventurous and bite a person. And some areas are simply swarming with horseflies, which can be restrictive, as nobody wants to do outdoorsy activities if there's a chance of getting bitten by one of these flying little devils. Us humans have access to many different ways of combating such a pest, like insect repellent. But the poor horses and cattle have to deal with horseflies all summer long. And for those who care about their animals, this can be torture to look at. All until now. A man built this trap in his backyard, and it's disgusting how well it works. The first thing you'll need is a black garbage bag or something similar, which will be the decoy, as it looks like something a horsefly might want to bite. Then you fill it with soapy water, and you build a structure that can hold 2 sheets of plexiglass in a 45-degree angle suspended over the bag. When they do a flyover to get closer, they'll be deflected into the soap water, and they'll drown within a few seconds. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Learn something new every day. I didn't even know horses was plagued with that problem.
Number 19. Casting a fire ant colony in aluminum. If you were looking for a way of getting rid of that
I've heard of this one before.
annoying colony of ants and making some really cool art at the same time, we found a way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All you need is a bucket of molten aluminum, and that's easy enough to find, right? Jokes aside, the resulting sculptures are breathtakingly beautiful. If you're looking for the best possible result, it's always best to find an ant colony that's been abandoned already. Nobody wants to see millions of dead ants all stuck in metal. I mean, probably. But it also works with a full functioning fire ant colony as well, so it's up to you. The great thing about aluminum is that it doesn't need to be heated at insane degrees in order to melt. If you chuck it at about 1200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes, you should be good to go. All you need to do next is pour the aluminum into the entrance of the fire ant colony. Don't forget to wear protective gear, of course. I mean, you would be handling molten metal after all. But once you see that the metal is starting to spill, it means it's reached full capacity. Then all you have to do is wait until it's cold and safe to handle again and dig your new trophy out of the ground. Number 18. Best mouse trap ever. This incredibly efficient mousetrap is called the rolling log, and it works 100% of the time. So much so that it is the only one that caught 11 mice in a single night. You'll need a big...
How about, let's figure out the reason why you have 11 mice. That's where we should probably start.
bucket full of water. Then you'll have to drill 2 little holes on opposite sides of the top part of your bucket and slide in a rolling metal cylinder that rotates along a center rod. It has to be the same length of the bucket's diameter so it fits perfectly in there. Before setting your trap, make sure that the cylinder can rotate perfectly like a well-oiled machine. Then you'll need to build some kind of ramps that reach the top of your bucket exactly where the extremities of your cylinder are. You can do this with a piece of wood, cardboard, really anything that works is perfectly fine. Just make sure they're not going anywhere and that your ramps are strong enough to carry the weight of a mouse. And finally, last but not least, you'll need to put a little bait spot in the middle of your cylinder. Some peanut butter will do. When the unfortunate mice climb on top of the cylinder to get to the yummy treat, they will instantly fall into the water and they won't be able to climb back up. Number 17. How to get rid of drain flies. Yes, the incredibly annoying and infuriating drain flies. If only there was a way of getting rid of them. Don't worry, we found the perfect little trick, or rather, a bunch of them. The first trick on our list is actually very easy and won't take much of your time. You just need a kettle and, well, water. Just wait until the water is boiling and then pour it down the drain. That's it. For a better result, you should do this 1 or 2 times a day for a whole week. Usually, after 7 days of doing this, all the flies and their eggs will be as dead as a dodo. You can also do the 1-day version of a similar trick. Pour half a cup of salt, half a cup of baking soda, and 1 cup of vinegar down the drain. Let it sit overnight, and the next morning, pour a whole lot of boiling water, and you should be good to go. There are also little fly traps that you can make yourself. All you need to do is set a bowl of equal parts sugar, water, and white vinegar with a few drops of liquid dish soap next to your drain overnight. The next morning, you'll see how many flies have drowned in there. Number 16. How to get rid of fleas. Everyone that has a pet is terrified of getting fleas in the house. They're so hard to get rid of. But whatever you do, you'll have to treat the pest at its source. Your beloved and furry pet. First things first, you'll need a specialized flea comb, and pay extra attention to the neck and tail of your cat or dog. Those are the parts of the body that are the warmest and therefore the absolute favorite for fleas. They like to be cozy. It is crucially important that you drop any fleas you catch into a bowl with hot, soapy water. This is the perfect concoction to kill them immediately. After that, you should definitely call your veterinarian and tell them what kind of flea your pet has caught. Maybe you can send them a picture with your phone. This step's important because each type of flea requires a different treatment. Treatments can also differ depending on the climate you live in. Then, simply follow the steps the veterinarian tells you to do. You might have to apply a topical treatment to your pet, which usually come in the form of shampoos, sprays, dusts, or dips, or an oral treatment, which is something they have to ingest, such as pills or some drops. Number 15. How to get rid of moths in every part of your home. Moths are the arch enemies of anyone who doesn't like holes in their clothes, which is pretty much everyone.
Oh, hey, now, I ain't know moths do that to your clothes. I would be, you know how much clothes cost these days? Oh, I'd be around there trying to shoot them.
But how do you get rid of them efficiently? We found the perfect way. Your grandma would tell you to use naphthalene or paradichlorobenzene, but we know now that these are chemicals that can seriously affect our health, and they're not at all safe to use in the household. Not to mention that children and pets might confuse the mothballs for a yummy treat and be tempted to eat them, which is never good news. Our advice would be to separate your seasonal clothing and vacuum seal it for extra protection. You should always store the bags in the main part of your residence and not in a hot and humid place like your attic or basement. If you have an infestation of moths, you probably have a larva problem as well. Using natural cedar repellent will definitely harm the larva and they won't become fully grown moths. You should also stash your food in airtight containers, which will also keep away any other nasty bugs like cockroaches. You should also try to check your groceries before bringing them into your house, since that's usually where this kind of infestation starts anyway. If you combine all of these methods, you should have a moth-free home in no time.
Wow.
Number 14. How to get rid of centipedes. There are over 2,000 different species of centipede in this world, and most of them
I didn't know centipedes was a problem.
live outdoors. But during the winter months when it's freezing outside, some cheeky centipedes might want to invite themselves into your home seeking warmth. How dare they, right? To be honest, centipedes
Is centipede like a silverfish too? Or they call them silverfish?
Centipedes can be quite useful sometimes. They're extremely skilled predators that'll hunt down every single spider and any other insect in your household. But some people get freaked out by them, and also, their bite does contain venom and it can sting quite a bit, especially for toddlers. If you want to get rid of your elusive party crasher, you should try to kill them on sight every single time. I know this can be difficult because they're very quick and sneaky, but keep in mind, centipedes don't usually invade a home in large numbers, so you might just be able to get rid of them by killing them one at a time. Sticky traps also work quite well. You should always place them in dark corners and crevices to make the most out of them. And there's always insecticide. There are some natural options out there like boric acid and food-grade diatomaceous earth that work wonders. Number 13. How to get rid of spiders and spider webs.
All right, people, take notes. I know a lot of people suffer with this problem.
There are so many people in this world that are terrified of spiders. Luckily, we now know how to get rid of them permanently, at least from our homes, which is good enough. If you're reticent of using chemical pesticides, don't worry. We've found organic and healthy ways of keeping away those pesky eight-legged devils. First of all, you should seal the cracks in your walls because that's how they get inside. You can use wire mesh or caulk for the edges of your windows or the openings like vents, and you will instantly notice the difference. Cleanliness is also key when it comes to combating the creepy crawlers. They like the clutter to hide in and hunt their prey, so don't give them hiding spots on purpose. If your phobia of spiders is acute, you should also get rid of your houseplants. Spiders adore doing their cobwebs and plants, and to make sure that your home is as unfriendly for spiders as possible, you can always use peppermint spray or eucalyptus essential oil. Plus, they smell amazing, which is an added advantage. The oils also fight the common cold and will help detoxify your body pores. It's a win-win situation. Number 12.
Didn't know that.
How to kill termites. Termites are an absolute nightmare. They reproduce incredibly fast, and they can totally destroy your house. I mean, bugs that literally eat wood? That almost sounds surreal, but it's true. For years, people would buy very aggressive poison from the hardware store, but they've recently found out that it's really bad for everybody, including people and pets. According to experts, using a homemade poison works just as well. Simply mix sodium borate with water and spray it on the infected areas, and this method is harmless for us as well.
Now watch, 10 years down the line, they're gonna be like, well, we shouldn't have been using that. It was very harmful to us. That's how everything ends up going.
If you feel adventurous, you can also use the less conventional option of nematodes. Nematodes are parasitic worms that love to snack on termites. You can even buy them online. You'll receive a small can full of worms in your mailbox. The good thing about this method is that not only is it highly effective, but also, once the nematodes have eaten all the termites, they will simply leave in the search for more, thus leaving your home bug-free. If you don't want to add more insects to your household, which is understandable, you can always use orange oil. On top of smelling fantastic, it's mostly made of D-limonene, which is very lethal to termites. The oil literally causes the exoskeleton of the termites to dissolve. Cool, huh? Number 11. Best ways to get rid of cockroaches. Ah, yes. Cockroaches might just be one of the most hated insects in the world. Nobody in their right mind would want roaches in their house. They're a synonym with filth and decay. So what do you do to get rid of them? Well, first of all, to prevent them from ever entering your home, it's important to keep a clean environment and to properly store your food. You should also think about using caulk to close the little gaps and crevices so they can't get in through them. But if your house is already infested, then you can use glue traps to identify the problematic areas. Basically, spread a bunch of traps all over your house, and when you see that they actually trap some roaches, that's where they usually hang out. And now you know where to place the poison. Gel bait is quite effective, but it'll leave dead roaches all over your floor, and that's just unpleasant. Some people prefer bait stations. You put them in areas with a lot of traffic and you wait until they bite. If none of these methods work for you, then the last resort is to call a pest management professional. They're expensive, but they take care of business. Number 10. Simple ways to get rid of fruit flies in your home. Do you know what attracts fruit flies? They basically love everything that's ripe, rotting, or decayed fruit and produce. They also seem to be quite attracted to fermented goods such as beer, liquor, and wine. And let's not forget how much they enjoy hanging out in trash cans and garbage disposals. So never have these items in your house. No, we're kidding.
See, this is why I always complain, like, I don't like putting nothing in my trash cans in my garage. Number one, it smells, and then you have all these flies. Then during the summer, you could get maggots. Like, so I don't store the trash there, man. I put it on the back of my truck, and then I haul it off. Like, no.
Hidden, of course. But one thing you should keep in mind is that each female fruit fly can lay over 500 eggs at a time, and they hatch in less than 24 hours. So if you see a fruit fly in your home, you better get matters into your own hands as quick as possible. There are a number of little DIY traps that can be very helpful. You can make a trap by pouring a little bit of apple cider vinegar into a glass and then seal it with plastic wrap. You secure the wrap with a rubber band and then poke tiny little holes in it. The flies won't be able to resist the smell of the vinegar, and once they're inside the glass, they won't know how to get back out, so they'll simply drown. Another very simple trick is to place a bowl of vinegar with a couple of drops of dish soap where you've last seen the fruit flies. The soap will cut the surface tension of the vinegar so the pesky flies will sink and eventually drown. Number 9. The best way to get rid of mosquitoes. Did you know that mosquitoes are the deadliest animals to the human race? That's because they carry very lethal diseases like malaria and the Zika virus. But don't worry, there are ways of efficiently getting rid of those.
Bro, back in my hometown, they were lethal. You just stand outside and you just smack yourself all day. All day. Like, it's ridiculous.
Persistent little biters. If you want to use heavy artillery and opt for the strong chemical options, you can use any kind of repellent that contains DEET in it. DEET is extremely strong. Its effects can last up to 12 hours. According to experts, it's recommended to use a repellent that's 30 to 55% DEET for adults and 10 to 30% for children. But be careful, you should never use this kind of product on an infant younger than 2 months. If you'd rather use more organic and less invasive products, a combination of coconut oil and neem oil mixed together is highly efficient as well. This method also repels mosquitoes for about half a day. You can spray it on your skin and it'll also moisturize you and make your skin glow. If you're still worried that they'll get you while you sleep, get yourself a mosquito net. When placed correctly, they'll not let in any mosquito, no matter its size.
That's smart. I should have had one of those. We ain't know about those.
There are essential oils that have also proven to work beautifully, like lavender, lemon, eucalyptus, lemongrass, peppermint, clove, and tea tree oil. Number 8. How to get rid of crickets. Like many other insects, crickets are nocturnal, which means the chances of running into them during the day are very slim. On the other hand, they spend the whole night doing that cricket noise, and it can be very annoying for a lot of people. If you want to get rid of them, here's what you need to do. You can set glue traps in their favorite places like dark and warm corners, or underneath kitchen appliances, wardrobes, or gaps along the upholstery furniture. There are even pesticide-free glue traps if you're worried about your pet eating them behind your back. You can make a more earth-friendly trap yourself as well. All you need to do is mix some boric acid with sugar, some pieces of onion, and a little bit of water, and place it wherever you think the crickets will have a chance of seeing it. Boric acid is a naturally occurring white powder that acts like a very efficient poison for many types of pests, and it'll work beautifully on crickets too. You can also sprinkle some food-grade diatomaceous earth where the crickets are likely to wander. This product is also natural, and it acts by absorbing all the fats and oils on the cricket's exoskeleton, therefore killing it. Number 7. How to get rid of fungus gnats on indoor plants.
What is that?
According to Jason Changu, an indoor plant expert, it's okay if your plants have a little bit of fungus gnats on them. It's part of nature. The problem starts when they become unmanageable. The adults that fly around are just a nuisance, but they won't really harm your plants. On the other hand, it's the larvae under the soil that can cause serious damage. If there are too many larvae, they can actually destroy the root system of your plant, and it's very hard to come back from a situation like that. So, what is there to be done about it? Well, the first thing you should do is to lay sticky traps around your plants and then kill any adult fungus gnat that gets trapped there. Each adult female can lay about 200 eggs, so killing them would quickly slow their population growth. You can also get a carnivorous plant that specializes in luring in small insects and eating them. The sundews are particularly efficient, and they're also gorgeous. You'll have a little foot soldier feeding on the pesky fungus gnats 24/7. You should also keep in mind that overwatering your plants can attract fungus gnats. The best way of taking care of your leafy roommates is to let their soil dry out between watering. Gnat larvae love wet and warm environments, and we don't want to cater to their desires. Number 6. Soapy water insect spray. Did you
Can't stop itching through this video.
know that you can easily make an insecticidal spray for your plants with ingredients that you can find around your house? Here's how you make it. You'll need 1 cup or 240 milliliters of any variety of oil you like, such as olive oil, coconut, corn, peanut, it really doesn't matter which one. And then you combine that oil with 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters
Starting to notice dish soap is involved in a lot of this stuff.
of dishwashing soap. Any pure soap will also do. Be careful not to use any kind of soap that contains degreaser, bleach, or the ones used in automatic dishwashers. These could seriously harm your plants. Now all you have to do is mix 2 teaspoons or 10 milliliters of the magic potion you just made with a whole cup of warm water. Once it's all dissolved, you can then pour it into a spray bottle and you're good to go. If you're not the DIY type, you can always buy horticultural soap at the store. With this one, you don't have to mix anything. It comes ready for use. This spray is perfect for soft, small-bodied insects like aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, and mealy bugs. And guaranteed, it'll be friendly for your beloved plants. Number 5. Use beer to get rid of pests. If you have a pet slug or an earwigs problem in your backyard, don't throw away your beer. Put it to good use and catch some of those creepy crawlers. Having a couple of slugs isn't really an issue, but if they reproduce and become too many, they can really create a problem for you. And if you're hesitant about using abrasive and dangerous chemicals, beer is the solution for you. All you need to do is dig a little hole in the ground where the slugs are more likely to hang out, and then place a glass inside the hole. Or you could also cut an old water bottle and do the same. Then you fill it with your stale old beer. Careful, the top of the glass should be close to the ground so the slimy little devils can crawl in. And the final touch is to put a little twig on the ground slightly taller than the glass and cover the whole thing with a shallow dish or a piece of wood. The idea is to make it so that they can climb in, but not out. They'll feel attracted to the sweet smell of the beer, but once they're there, they'll drown as they can't really swim. After that, you can throw the whole thing away because yikes. Number 4. Tea tree oil for garden pests. According to the Purdue University Center for New Crops and Plants Products, tea tree oil is an effective repellent against mosquitoes, fleas, and lice. These kinds of pests are a little bit more than just a nuisance. They actually carry harmful and fatal diseases. There are many different repellent brands in the market, but they can also be quite dangerous for planet Earth and for our health, as they contain various heavy chemicals. If you're looking for a natural and organic way of dealing with the biting pests, tea tree oil is the perfect solution for you. You'll need to combine the tea tree oil with another kind of oil, such as olive oil or almond oil, because otherwise it can be a little irritating. Start with 1 ounce of tea tree oil with 16 ounces of any other kind of gentle oil. Then rub a small amount of your solution on a patch of skin, if possible not your face, and wait for about half an hour. If your skin becomes irritated, you'll need to use more olive oil or almond oil, or even try a different repellent altogether. But if your skin is fine, all you need to do is rub your magic repellent all over your exposed skin to ward off insects. Number 3. Pepper spray. Ah, yes. Now let's talk about everything spicy. Nowadays, hot pepper sauce is a must in every barbecue, or really any simple meal. Sauce brands like Tabasco and Sriracha inspire legions of followers. There are even fanatics that are constantly in search of the latest pepper with the hottest burn. But just as some people can't stand spicy, most mammals and insects hate anything hot as well.
Oh,
it can be
really?
extremely irritating, and nobody likes that. This is why using pepper spray on your plants will make sure that nothing finds them appetizing anymore. But be careful, you should always be very cautious while dealing with hot peppers, as it can be quite dangerous. You should be wearing rubber gloves at all times, otherwise the peppers will burn your hands. And whatever you do, do not touch your face after dealing with them. You can buy the spray already made, but if you're feeling adventurous and want to try doing it yourself, this is what you'll need. 5 to 10 hot peppers, 1 teaspoon of pure soap, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and half a gallon of water. Mix all the ingredients in a blender, strain the liquid, add water if necessary, and there you go. Now you can spray your concoction on your plants, and nothing will dare eating them. Number 2. Eggshells to deter snails and slugs. Don't throw away your eggshells. You can use them to keep snails and slugs off your beloved plants in your garden. When you peel the eggs, make sure to remove the soft inner membrane. You can rinse the shells if necessary. Then, you place them on paper towels to make sure they are completely dry. Then, you break them up into tiny little bits. They have to be quite small, otherwise the little devils will simply walk around them. But careful, your eggshells should never reach the point that they look like a powder either. It's all about finding the sweet spot in between. The idea is that the sharp edges of the eggshells act as a deterrent. Just like broken glass would hurt your feet, the eggshells would deter the slimy crawlers. Then, all you need to do is sprinkle a healthy dose around your plants. For the border control method to work, it needs to be a thick layer all around the plant, otherwise they can and will find a point of entry. Also, keep in mind, rainfall weakens the eggshells, which means you'll need to repeat the process from the start all over again. This is also a way of introducing some calcium to your soil, which will make your plants grow stronger and bigger. It's a win-win situation. Number 1. Pitfall Trap. These kinds of traps are mainly used to assess the abundance and diversity of soil-dwelling predatory beetles and spiders. To make sure that it's done properly, you'll need to dig a hole in the ground large enough to house the pitfall trap. Then, you'll place plastic cups of about 500 millimeters in the holes so that the rims of the cups are at the same level as the soil's surface. Then, you have to prepare the poison solution, which is 1 unit of water and 1 unit of antifreeze, also known as propylene glycol.
Propylene glycol and ethylene glycol are used quite a bit as killing agents because...
So for 500 millimeters, you should have 250 millimeters of both water and antifreeze. Then you fill your plastic cups at half their capacity, meaning they should be half full. For the final touch, you should cover the pitfall traps to prevent overflow and so that nobody steps on them. But always leaving enough room so that the arthropods can climb in, of course. You should leave your pitfall trap in the soil for 14 days, and then you should store the arthropods in 60% alcohol. Now, you should be ready to send them to the laboratory for further species identification. As you can see, there are more and more ingenious people coming up with crazy ways of repelling those pesky pests that make life so miserable sometimes. What about you? Which method?
I made it. Going to take a shower. But one of the things I learned from this video, bro, what can cut out a lot of this stuff is plants. Don't have no plants in your house. Keep you some dish soap. And you can probably get rid of 50 to 70% of the problem with that stuff. That's it. Some household products. That's all I'm saying. But I've itched throughout this. I gotta go. Gotta get a shower, man. This video just made me itch, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Till the next one, I'm going. Peace.